Well, it's been a very big week for Bitcoin. Sentiment has definitely moved into more positive territory, and the crypto is up around 23% in the past week alone. Matt Harry of DigitalX joins us now, and he's here to try and tell us all about it. Hey, mate, good to see you. It's been a big week, hasn't it?
Certainly has, Adrian. Been a very big week. Good to see you too.
So let's get into it. We want to know why. I mean, people sometimes point to one reason, but there's always more than one reason. Can you break it down for us?
Sure. So in terms of price action, I think the early part of the week, it's fair to say price action was very much driven by rumours. So the rumours were that Amazon was readying its business to onboard digital asset and Bitcoin functionality into the business model. The rumours were supposedly coming from the man himself, Jeff Bezos. They proved to be incorrect, but it was enough to save the market when it looked like it was about to drop through 30,000 US dollars. The market had been pretty short down there, so the initial part of the move very much was shorts closing, what we refer to as a short squeeze. But later in the week, encouragingly, we did see real buyers step in, and we saw an expansion of open interest across all exchanges, which is a very encouraging sign. We traded up to 41,000 US dollars. We're currently sitting just below $40,000. But look, this is now the question, I guess, becomes, was that $30,000 area the bottom, or are we currently seeing a bull trap? Personally, I would like to see a higher low put in place before continuation of this trend. I never think it's a very healthy thing to see a market go straight up in a straight line. You want a little bit of back and forth along the way to establish a real trend. But look, promisingly, we've seen some great things on chain. We've seen about $2.5 billion worth of US dollars worth of Bitcoin taken off exchanges during this week. So that's suggestive of the return of real institutional long-term positioning into the space. But overall, it's been a very, very active H1 for 2021. We've seen total market cap move from 750 billion in January, peaked out at around 2.4 trillion in May, and we're currently sitting around 1.4 trillion. So that's a net gain for the first half of 2021 of 86% year to date. So forget about your 20% in property, get into something that's more liquid and is absolutely outperforming property by many multiples.
Yeah, and it's a bit easier to get into the market as well. In many ways, you don't need to stump up hundreds of thousands of bucks. Let's talk about Ethereum, which is a fascinating one for me to watch. There's an important moment or fork, as you described, coming up for Ethereum. Tell us about it.
Yes, and I'm aware that you are a big Ethereum fan, so it's really good news for you. The fork that's happening is happening next week on the 4th of August. It's known as the London hard fork. It's not a particularly contentious one, nor is it backwards compatible. So there is no additional coin being spun off as such for current Ethereum holders, much to the displeasure of many. What it really means is that the nodes and the miners will need to upgrade to the new blockchain, or they will not be able to participate any longer in that particular ecosystem. It is a really big deal because it's a huge step towards ETH 2.0, which is the larger upgrade. So that's where Ethereum switches from proof of work mining to proof of stake, making it far more efficient and scalable, and dramatically reducing the energy that is consumed in Ethereum mining, which is clearly a big concern for ESG type investors at the moment. So the London hard fork also introduces an element of limitation to Ethereum's supply by burning transaction fees. So that little tweak also adds a little bit of value in terms of capping the Ethereum supply, whereas it's uncapped at the moment.
One to watch for sure. And this final story, I think, might even have a bit of a connection to us here at TICKER News potentially. So we talk about fraud in the Australian market or any crypto market, but we did see an Australian identity who speaks a lot about crypto, I think accused of fraud earlier this week. I think I know who you're talking about. Tell us a bit more about it.
Yes, well, without naming names, there was a very well-known Australian crypto identity have some allegations of fraud levelled against him this week. The allegations are that he was touting his own crypto project and marketing that to mum and dad investors, an unlicensed project, and the allegations are that he accepted up to around $10 million of investor funds, and rather than putting them to use in creating a new digital currency, which is what he said he was doing, he was actually sending those funds to his personal account and shorting the market on leverage all the way up. And it is said that he has lost $10 million worth of investors' funds. So, look, whether it's true or it isn't, I don't know. Time will tell. I certainly hope it's not true, but either way, it's a very timely reminder that this is an under-regulated market, and investors really need to be very careful where they're placing their funds and who they're placing their trust in. Ideally, investors should be going through licensed, listed entities such as DigitalX, because there's that whole additional layer of compliance and regulatory oversight. Just allows investors to sleep far easier at night, knowing that regulators have actually got some sort of an eye on what public entities are doing with their funds.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We speak, to a lot of different people in the crypto world, and it is under-regulated, as you say, but going through a group like yourself, because there's that interesting thing where trust can be built quite quickly when it comes to an individual who, might be trying to do the right thing. But as we know, you don't always have the information, right? When they're doing it as an individual, it's more like a private sort of run group. Whereas for you guys at DigitalX, there's a lot of layers to it in many ways. So it's great to be careful. So yeah, we really appreciate you taking us down that path and explaining it a bit more to us. Always great to chat, mate. Have you been watching the Olympics briefly? You're going to watch over the weekend some more gold for the Aussies?
Oh, mate, I love the Olympics, and I'm a very keen open water swimmer. I swam the English Channel several years ago, and my open water swimming community is sending messages through all day. Did you see this swim? Did you see this swim? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I've got a job. So I don't know how people have all this time to watch the Olympics, but I'm seeing some of the replays at night, and it's super, super interesting, and always very exciting time when the Olympics are on.
Yeah, you just need to see the highlights. That's all I see as well. And it's good just to flick on and go, great, we won a gold. It makes you feel good in these times. Have a wonderful weekend, mate. We'll talk next week.
That's it.